what can or should Mexico do to improve its economy, curb cartel influence, prevent violence and corruption? What can Mexico do to create jobs and to keep people there? While you were the governor of Guanajuato and president of Mexico, you focused a lot on economic development in Mexico. In fact, I remember you talked when you were here in the 90s even about getting immigrants to California to reinvest in Mexico, in companies and in economic development in Mexico. So, what should Mexico be doing to reduce the flow and the need for all of the immigration to the U.S.?
Okay. Information number one, NAFTA resolved to Mexico on 22 years of existence. When NAFTA started, the gap on income on the U.S. side compared to the Mexican side was at 10 to 1. So you would make $1 in the Mexican side, and by learning how to swim and cross the Bravo River, or learning how to jump a wall, you will make $10. Tell me any of you that would not be moved with such a great incentive of increasing your salary tenfold by moving north. I mean, we would all take the chance. This is the cost of success of the United States. And what we should consider the ideal? It would be Canada, United States. You make $1 on the Canadian side, you make $1 on the US side. No incentive to be there or to be here. The same. Now, what NAFTA did for Mexico? The gap of 10 to 1 changed to 5 to 1. So the incentive has been decreased. And that's why the trend, the flow of migration to the north now is larger coming back to Mexico. Now we have a negative trend. Now it's different than it was when NAFTA started. My vision, my forecast is that in one more generation, another 20 to 25 years, we are going to reach the 1-to-1. Why? Because it's such an intense exchange between our two nations that is like communicating vessels. Water will tend to flow in the middle, and that's what is going to happen. So we have to work in that direction. That's why NAFTA is so important that we keep it going, because it's narrowing that gap. Now, finally, the other thing is, well, and what is Mexico doing? Well, we're doing a lot of things, believe me. One of them is we're full employment on all central Mexico with 60% of Mexican population. And if I consider the north, the Chihuahuas, the Nuevo Leons, the Coahuilas are also full employment. No more poverty from the middle of Mexico up to the north. Extreme poverty only subsists in Oaxaca or Chiapas. And when you visit India, you see what poverty is. Mexico does not have that level of extreme poverty like India has. So that's number two. We're working to be competitive. We're working to create jobs. We're working to move ahead. And I would say number three, again, it's the same situation of trading, of being part of the world big game. And Mexico has 45 trade agreements, not one, NAFTA. We have 45. But of course, we have taken advantage of this trade agreement because it's our neighbor. We're close enough to do it. This economy, California's economy, is the 6th or the 5th largest in the world. We are the 11th largest in the world. So what easier thing to do than trade with California, trade with Texas, and that's more than enough for ourselves. So that's what we're doing in Mexico. Now, finally, violence, drugs, legalize. We must legalize. We are in between the huge consumer market in the north and the producers of drugs in the south. We don't produce drugs significantly. We don't consume drugs significantly in Mexico. And why we have this war? Because we're working for you. We're working for United States. We're trying to prevent the drug to come to United States. And the question I do to Trump and all his police and security agencies, what happens when one cargo of drug coming from Mexico crosses the border? Who lets them take it to San Francisco, to New York, to Washington State? Why is that allowed? If that's prohibited, that's penalized in this nation. So why Mexico is in this trap? We have to get out of it. It's killed 250 young kids in the last 10 years. 250,000 kids that were not born criminals, that did not have criminality in their genes, and they were killed. Why? Because they never had the opportunity they were looking for. Because they never could get that good job, because they never could get that scholarship to go to university, because they never had the opportunity. So they joined the cartels, and the cartels are paying double the salary than GM in Mexico. And where the money comes from to pay those salaries to these kids in Mexico? From drug consumption in the United States. So I hope this nation moves faster to legalize drugs, and I'm not only for marijuana. My position is let's legalize everything.